Hi, this is James Gordon Outdoor Library here with a book review. Today's book we're reviewing today, Black Sunday by Thomas Harris. This was first published by Jimmy Poo Sons in 1975. This edition from Dell was published in June 1990. This was a really good dark thriller, and for Thomas Harris's first novel, he delivers a real knockout with this one. It was highly detailed, lots of short yet intense moments of action, heavily layered characters, a lot of scenery within the book, and the ending had me at the edge of my seat. I overall really enjoyed this book, and I found it a lot better than the film it's based on, which I'll explain later on in my review. But overall, I really enjoyed this book. There were a few things I didn't like with it, but other than that, for Thomas Harris's first novel, he really does do an excellent job with this novel. Yeah, overall, I really enjoyed it. Alright, on to the book review. Plot. Traveling in the back of a taxi, Dahlia Lid, a member of Black September Organization, a Palestinian militant group. She reaches a secret base in Beirut and is taken inside. Waiting for her is Hafez Najjar, head of Al-Fatah elite Jihad Arez. He's dubbed the Praying Mantis. Najjar is also the leader of Black September, Abu Ali, commander of all terror attacks, and Mohammed Fasil, a architect. Dahlia has a plan to strike the heart of America for revenge of them supporting arms and funding the Israelis in the war against Palestine and other neighboring countries. For 2 months she has been visiting an American Vietnam vet that was a POW, Michael Lander, who was shot down during a rescue mission. He has been tortured and forced to confess war crimes he never committed and is angry how his government treated him in return, along with a messy divorce leaving him bitter and betrayed by his own country. Lander wishes to aid Black September by killing over 80,000 American citizens along with the new president to get revenge in a suicide bombing. Lander is the Aldridge blimp pilot and has come up with a plan to attach a bomb under it along with several dart rounds that would tear people apart. Dahlia explains the plan to the others and also states it has to be .177 caliber rifle dart rounds, as if they were to use claymores they would be too heavy. Using plastic explosive along with blasting caps, it will allow them to take out as many citizens as they can. While some of the men are skeptical if Lander can be trusted as they read his medical report as he suffers from PTSD and can become violent at times, but Dahlia assures them she trusts him and is willing to carry out the plan. After thinking it over, they agree and want Dahlia to carry out the plan. She and Lander will visit a Taiwan cargo ship, Lakesia in New York. Once they pick up the cargo, they will need to silence the captain to ensure the secrecy of their mission can't fail. Najjar wants to ensure that they kill as many people as they can and has Dahlia record a warning for the Americans that if they don't stop supporting Israel, they will continue to attack their country. Dahlia and the others go to Najjar's apartment. During that night, while she is in the middle of showering, an Israeli commando squad appears and kills the guards. Then storms inside the apartment, killing everyone in sight. Dahlia is held at gunpoint by an Israeli commando and insults her before leaving. She finds Najjar dead along with Abu Ali. Fasil is the only surviving member and wants her to continue with the plan. Her cargo and parts for an AK-47 will be sent to her. She quickly flees as Dahlia catches a flight to the Mediterranean, falling asleep on the flight. Meanwhile, Lander is flying the Aldridge blimp above the football stadium in Miami. It's the only thing he loves to do, as he's a very skilled pilot but keeps to himself. He's looking forward to seeing Dahlia again. After completing his shift, Lander radios air traffic control. He is returning to the landing pad and lands at Miami Beach, then catches a flight to Lakehurst, New Jersey, and begins working on the fiberglass shell that will hold the bomb under the blimp in his double garage. Around 4 a.m., he gets a call from Dahlia that she's on her way. When she shows up, the two sleep together in bed as she makes some breakfast while going over their plan. Arriving in Washington, D.C. is Mossad agent David Kavakab, along with 2 others, are sent to work alongside the FBI. Kavakab lost his parents during World War II to both Nazi Germany and the Russians. He has been in several wars and is considered the best agent Mossad has. However, his methods are brutal and doesn't always agree with his superiors. Waiting for them is FBI agent Sam Corey, along with other agents. They go to the embassy and play the tape Kavakov recovered during the raid on Najir's apartment. Kavakov reveals he killed Najir and believes the woman he saw in the shower is the same one on the recording. When asked why he didn't kill her, Kavakov replies he didn't have a reason to shoot her. Both Mossad and the American agents believe that Black September is plotting a terrorist attack here, but are unsure where they'll strike. With not much to go on, they plan to begin checking all women that came to the States, along with anyone else that has ties to Black September. To ensure the plastic explosive makes it through, Vasile has Al Madison placed in a large crate with the cargo. However, the ship's captain, Kamar Larso, has discovered Mason and wounded him as he plans to throw his body overboard before they reach New York. Vasile hasn't heard from Larso and believes he's double-crossed him. Vasile reaches Leticia and boards the ship as he ambushes Captain Larbos with a .357 Magnum. Larbos quickly pulls out a Smith & Wesson revolver as the two shoot at each other before fleeing into the cargo hold. As Larso reaches for the crate with Mason, he searches for his Walter PPK, but Mason quickly aims at Larso's face and kills him. As Lander and Dahlia are in the middle of working in the garage, they get a phone call from Seal telling them that plans have changed and they need to reach the harbor to pick up the explosive and other gear before the crew members find the dead captain. During that night, Lander and Dahlia take a large boat with powerful engines while wearing all black and armed with 2 shotguns and an automatic rifle. They leave New Jersey Harbor and head straight for New York. Once they reach the cargo ship, Vasile and other members of Black September begin loading the plastic explosive onto the boat when one of them spots a ship coming. Lander grabs his binoculars and spots Coast Guard. He orders everyone to get on the boat at once. Lander pulls it full throttle and tells Dahlia to use a reflector to make it difficult to track them. Once they are far away, Lander has the small crew and explosives placed on a smaller rubber boat and hops overboard as the larger boat speeds away. Hidden by darkness, the Coast Guard chases after the empty ship while they move quickly towards shore. The following morning, Kavakov is going over photos of Ab women, but none of them are the one he saw back in Beirut. Then they get a call about a murder on a cargo ship and an empty boat that was chased by Coast Guard last night, as it might be related to Black September. Kavakov and his team investigate the ship along with a crew member who reveals that he did see people placing stuff on board the boat but didn't know what it was. Kavakov then tracks down Benjamin Muzzy, who handles transfer money for Vasile. When Kavakov tracks him down to his apartment while disguised as an overweight woman, he breaks in and threatens to kill him unless he reveals what he knows about Vasile and what they're planning. Muzzy agrees if only he is allowed to leave the country. Kavakov promises he'll spare him and keep the money that was supposed to be delivered to Vasile. But just as Muzzy is telling Kavakov about the American, he goes to the fridge to get something to drink and activates a hidden bomb. He nearly kills Kavakov as he's blown away. Muzzy is killed in the blast. Back in New Jersey, Lander, Dahlia, and the others hear about the explosion in New York. Vasile explains he had to kill Muzzy to both silence anyone that might jeopardize their mission and to ensure the FBI or Mossad can't find them. Kavakov is recovering at the hospital as he's badly injured. He tells both Corey and his own 2 Mossad members what information he was able to gather from Muzzy before he was blown to bits. They try to find a lead, however, there was a leak in the press revealing Kavakov's name as they'd done their best to silence the media to avoid any further problems. Back in New Jersey, Lander checks the news as it mentions Kavakov's name as he's alive. Vasile is furious and wants to kill it. Lander thinks it's too risky to go after Kavakov, but against his wishes, Vasile has Dahlia sent to New York to assassinate Kavakov. Disguising herself as a nurse, Dahlia attempts to find Kavakov. However, they have moved him for security as she tries finding where he is placed. One of the nurses working the late shift becomes suspicious and alerts the guards. As Dahlia moves to the 5th floor, believing she's found where Kavakov is, A guard stops her and brings her back to the elevator. However, as he goes to press the lower floor button, Dahlia quickly pulls out a syringe with poison and stabs it into the guard's neck. She gets off the second floor and quickly escapes, knowing her cover is blown before police show up. Kavakab is furious to hear the news of the dead guard along with the murder attempt on his life. Despite recovering from his injuries, as he's then ordered to report back to the UN building, when news is leaked about his men beating information out of crew members on the cargo ship Leticia, which is making them look bad and could cause tension between the US and Israel. Kavakab is ordered back home along with his men, but the last minute decision is changed since Kavakab is the only one who can find Fasil along with the other terrorist members. Kavakab and his men remain in the US, with Corey picking Kavakab up at the airport and shows him files to continue their hunt for the terrorists. With Kavakab and Corey working around the clock trying to track down the terrorist members within the United States, knowing they are plotting something deadly, at the same time Lander has finished working on his bomb. While he's pleased, but an unexpected visit from his ex-wife causes a sudden rush of rage when she reveals one of his friends from the war killed himself and is jealous of her life, how better it is, and she's married to another man. Drowning his sorrows in the house as he wants to die, but not before taking as many lives as he can to release his build-up anger that he's been holding for all these years. When Kavakab and Corey learn that Black September is plotting to massacre over 80,000 people at the Superdome in New Orleans, and the president is going to be there as well, can they stop them, or is it too late? Black Sunday was a gripping and intense thriller, highly detailed with its many locations and well-crafted and layered characters. From the Middle East to the big cities of New York, New Jersey, Washington, D.C., and New Orleans, I like the scenery within this novel. Lots of moments of short yet intense action, as there was never a dull moment or felt scenes were dragging on. Harris does a great job of creating heavily layered and detailed characters to follow, from Lander to Dahlia plotting their deadly terror attack with the aid of Fasil, doing everything to keep them a step ahead of the law while silencing anyone that would threaten their mission, to Kavakab and the other law enforcement trying to stop this terror attack. While I felt Kavakab could be ignorant at times, along with being racist towards Arabs and somewhat selfish despite his determination to succeed in his mission. However, I found the terrorist characters more interesting to follow than the other characters, who I felt could get a little boring at times. Michael Lander's character was a person who was abused badly by his religious mother and wanted to break free from her iron grip, almost had the perfect life by his own choice and not his mother's. However, tragedy would strike during the Vietnam War, and his views on his own government changed into a disturbed man who wanted to act out in anger after being betrayed by those he trusted and his nation, twisting his views, and at times nearly lashed out in violence but controlled himself. The only person who could control him and keep Lander from self-destructing was Dahlia, a beautiful yet deadly woman, very smart, cunning, and able to keep her cool under pressure, and would do anything to succeed in her mission, even if it meant sacrificing herself against her enemies. Lander and Dahlia were the two characters I really liked in this novel. While the start of Black Sunday gets off to a very strong start, however, just as things are getting interesting, Harris suddenly goes to an origin story with Lander that takes a while till it cuts back to the story. This took me out of the story and wished Harris put this scene either early in the novel or later. However, after that, the rest of the novel gets better. The ending is dark and liked it as it felt different from other thrillers I've read. As for the 1977 film of the same name with Robert Shaw, Bruce Stern, Martha Keller, and directed by Jonathan Frankenheimer, wasn't good as the novel. Despite a good cast of actors, well-shot scenery, and good director at the helm isn't enough. The darkness is toned down, scenes are changed around with altering depths of characters, along with having Lander and Dahlia doing most of the work without the aid of Fasil or Black September, and a happier ending that cuts out even more of the darkness out of the story. I wouldn't bother with the film if you prefer dark thrillers, as I feel the film alters too much from the original story. Overall, I highly recommend Black Sunday. It's a good, intense 70s thriller that will keep you on the edge of your seat. With never a dull moment, you won't be disappointed. Alright, that's our review today. Hope you enjoy. Yeah, I absolutely enjoyed reading Black Sunday. It was an excellent thriller. I was actually surprised how, when I started reading the book, how strong of a start it gets off to. Like, it gets off to this, like, really strong start. It gets, like, straight to the point. No, like, filler or some other scene to get in the way. No, it just, Thomas Harris gets right into the story. He doesn't waste time. He introduces the large cast of characters that we follow within the story, and overall, it was an excellent thriller. It's very highly detailed in locations, many iconic scenes. The characters were very well layered. Um, there was never a dull moment. Like, the pacing was excellent, and the finale was, I absolutely enjoyed. It was a really good finale. I really enjoyed it. As for the things I didn't like with it, as I said, as I started reading the book, all of a sudden, just as things are getting interesting, um, Thomas Harris then suddenly cuts to a origin story with the Lander character, and it just kind of took me out of the story. Like, it does fill in the blanks, explain why the way he is and why he's doing this. That did explain that, but the scene I just felt wasn't placed at the right time. Like, either place it either at the beginning of the book or later on in the novel. It kind of took me out of the story a little bit. So I had to stop reading the main plot and read this origin story, which takes quite a while to get through until I get back to the main plot itself. But after that, Thomas Harris doesn't do any more origin stories because I was a little concerned. It's like, is he going to do an origin story on Dahlia or one of the other characters? Luckily, he doesn't do that. There is a subplot which I didn't really care for. It's like a kind of romance part with Cabo and this woman that he's interested in, but it's kind of a love-hate relationship, as like, Cabo is always doing missions and he prefers to do work than spend time with this woman that he cares about, and this causes tension between the two. I didn't really care for that subplot. Luckily, though, this is like there's just a few scenes of them, so it didn't really drag on the story. Yeah, so those are like the only things I didn't like. But overall, I really enjoyed this book. As for the characters, my favorites personally were Michael Lander and Dahlia. These are two characters I really liked. They were a highly skilled team. They were deadly. They're always trying to stay a step ahead of the law. I just found these characters interesting to read. Unlike the other character, Cabo, I really didn't like this character. As I said, I find he's very selfish, ignorant, can be a bit racist at times, and I just kind of found boring. I didn't really like this character. I preferred Dahlia and Lander. I thought they were the better characters, and I liked it, and was kind of rooting for them. So those are the two characters I really liked the best. I felt they were like hell. If Black Sunday just followed them instead, I would have even liked that better. But I still enjoyed it. As for the film, The Saint, now I saw the film a very long time ago with my father, and I thought it was good. But after reading the book, it was way better. The film alters way too much of the original story. As I said, they change several scenes around. They alter the deaths of characters. So there's characters that die in the film but don't in the book, and then it's vice versa, where characters that die in the book stay alive at the end of the film. They also changed it where it's just Lander and Dahlia are doing all the work without the aid of Vasile and the Black September members. Like, they alter that, and the ending they changed. Like, the ending in the book is a lot darker. The film ending is a lot more happier, and I just thought, really, the typical they saved this, they saved everyone, and they killed the bad guys, like typical ending. So, if my personal opinion, I would just say stick with the book. It's way better. But if you're still curious to check out this like mid-70s thriller, it's up to you if you want to check it out or not. But I think the novel's way better, if you ask me. Alright, that's it for the book review today. Hope you enjoyed it, and please don't forget to like this video and subscribe to October Library, the YouTube channel where I post book reviews, book hauls, and other fiction-related content. Until then, I'll catch you later.